Hello, everyone. Walk Hill Bethelite here. Just want to talk very briefly. I've got some groceries in the back, about to cook a little something up. But one of the main differences between transitioning from Jehovah's Witnesses and going to another church, a Christian church, is that a church will assume a person has a certain amount of common sense. See, Jehovah's Witnesses, you're told what to read, when to read it. They're going to come out with a new book. You're only supposed to read that particular book. That level of control is common within Jehovah's Witnesses, whereas a church, it's not that you don't have anything to study. You got a whole Christian bookstore. Some of these churches have bookstores in the church. You've got, even if you in a really small city that doesn't have a Christian bookstore, you got Barnes and Nobles, most likely somewhere, and they have an entire section where you can read all kinds of books, Christian books, whatever you choose to read. You can have your own personal relationship with Christ in a Christian church, whereas the cult of Jehovah's Witnesses, you're told what to do, when to do it. You're told to jump, and you're told how high to jump. Now, the concept that a lot of Jehovah's Witnesses have is that it's safe there, but I don't think that they really are thinking clearly as to the reason for that. Because, of course, if somebody, an organization treats an adult like a little kid, just like you would treat your little children, and you would watch every little thing that they did, there's a concept of safety there, a feeling of safety. Obviously, because you're being treated like a child. You're told who you can speak to, who you should and shouldn't hang out with. To a certain extent, you're told who you should marry, who you shouldn't marry, who you can date, how long you can even date them. You're treated as if you have no common sense at all. And unfortunately, that shouldn't make a person feel comfortable. That should make a person feel like they're being belittled, like they're being treated like they're three. But some Jehovah's Witnesses feel safety and comfort basically because Watchtower gives them happy thoughts, like you're going to be on earth, you don't have to go to heaven. There's no such thing as hell. They're just the happy thoughts that they give you. And they shelter you with those happy thoughts. So think about somebody that's not even in a cult, that just stays in the house all the time and just thinks things that make them happy. Yeah, there's going to be a certain amount of comfort there because you're just sheltered, thinking things that aren't necessarily true but make you feel good. So it really interests me that so many people, even though they know Watchtower or Jehovah's Witnesses have messed up on the generation of 1914 teaching and had to come up with weird stuff like overlapping teaching, I think one of the reasons why people won't leave is because they want to be treated like a little kid in a nursery. Like the little nursery where they have the little thing that they put up by the stairs so that the little kids can't go up the steps. Or if you're in a little room, they put up the little rail so that you can't come out of the room. And the little kid is sitting there with his rattle, goo goo gaga, oh, I'm so happy. Apparently there's adults that want that feeling of being safe and coddled and told what to do and what to think and when to think it. And the concept of going to a normal Christian church and leaving the cult, that is intimidating to them, because the church is going to expect you to have general common sense, that you have enough common sense to go and pick up a Christian book if you want to read a Christian book, that you have enough common sense to be able to pick and choose good friends, that you don't necessarily need someone to take your entire family away if you make a mistake through shunning and disfellowshipping and everything else. So a church is going to treat you like a normal human being. They're going to provide services for you, fellowship, all these other things, except for they're not telling you everything that you have to do and when you have to do it. There was a church, non-denominational church, that I went to in Dayton, and I decided to try something. All the things that I wanted to do, all the things that I saw as I sat and enjoyed the service that I felt could improve the church, I decided I'm going to be that improvement. I'm going to do that thing. And normally, as a member of a church, you can do that. So one thing that me and a friend did was we had something for the youth there. There was a lot of young people in that particular church. So we picked a person's house. A person volunteered their home. We got a bunch of games and things like that. And we picked a day during the week where the young people would have a place to go, have fun, eat pizza, and fellowship with each other. And we did it. We didn't necessarily we let the pastor know what we were doing. We communicated with everybody, but we didn't necessarily have somebody telling us we could and we couldn't, and when to do it and how to do it, and we need this, that, and the other. You're given a certain amount of freedom in a church. So for a Jehovah's Witness switching from a cult to a church, you don't want to go into that church, sit, and just wait for somebody to tell you what to read, or wait for somebody to tell you what ministry to join, or wait and just sit for somebody to tell you, do this to be involved in the church. No. Have the initiative. Try it and see what happens. Go to a church. I don't mean the first time you're there, but as you become a member and you get to know people in the church, show initiative and start ministry. Start things that are passionate to you. And see what happens. See if you don't feel more like a member of that church. See if you don't feel more like a member of a community than you did as a member of that cult. Because in reality, in a regular Christian church, that feeling of brotherhood, sisterhood, the feeling of being a part of something is greater in a regular church than it is in a cult. Because in a cult, you just get cut loose whenever. Anytime. You make a mistake. You may be married. You may not have done anything. Your husband may just beat you. And all the elders turn on you. And bam, you cut loose. Those things you don't have to worry about as much in a regular Christian church as you would in a cult. See, so that's something to try for people that tried switching from a cult to a regular church and then are thinking about, I want to go back to a cult. I want to go back to the nursery where they put the little things up and restrict my movement and tell me what to do, and they give me a rattle and a bottle. Try to get yourself involved with things. To make friends, try being a friend. See? Give it a try. Comment down below. Let me know what you think. 937-789-40 2-9 will share experiences. There's another church that I went to that was a Baptist church, and I joined the choir. Because you can just sit in the church and just sit there waiting for somebody to make you a member of the choir, give you an assignment or something. Why can't you pray, talk to God, see what comes to your heart, and then go and do it? Get the support you need from the church and go and do that thing. You see, versus being told you have to go door to door. That's your ministry. That's what you're going to do. And you're going to write down every hour you are out there and every placement. And you're going to sit and be happy in the nursery with your little happy thoughts watching Teletubby. I mean, yeah, if we could all go back to being kids sitting in the nursery watching Teletubby. I remember going to a place, where I think my mother was at work and they had a daycare, and they gave me sugar cookies. And there's all these toys. Of course, our thoughts of those times are fun. And if we find an organization or a cult like Jehovah's Witnesses that will then start treating us like a little kid in a nursery, where we feel all safe because we're restricted and we can't do anything, that's that feeling of being a kid again. See? I think that's where all that they think they're comfortable. But again, Jehovah's Witnesses, they don't really exercise any common sense. They call themselves Jehovah's Witnesses, I believe. Is it, comment down below and let me know if this is inaccurate. Is it Acts chapter 1 verse 8, or was it 8:1? I believe Acts chapter 1 verse 8, where it says, you'll be witnesses of me throughout the earth. Is that why they call themselves Jehovah's Witnesses? Well, again, this is something that gives them happy thoughts. But I'm pretty sure there aren't too many Jehovah's Witnesses that really have thought about that, because if Jesus is speaking there in Acts, Jesus is saying you will be witnesses of me, then why would you then, based off that, call yourself Jehovah's Witnesses, unless they're saying Jesus is Jehovah? Wouldn't you call yourself Jesus Witnesses? I'm telling you, it's just a safe space where a person doesn't have to have any common sense. They don't have to think about anything. And when you talk to Jehovah's Witnesses, if you have relatives that are, oftentimes, what did you do today? The highlight of their life. I went to the Kingdom Hall. I just went out in service. I mean, that's it. That's their whole life. That's all they did. Sheltered. Not allowed to do very much. The smallest thing is impressive. The smallest little thing they see in the organization is impressive because they're so sheltered they can't go anywhere and do anything. All that restriction is not necessary for you to feel part of a church or feel part of a religious group. Just be who you are, make friends, be assertive. You see something that you want to change in that church, if you want to get a group of people to go door to door, make it happen. Do it. Again, and if you're not prone to want to attend a church, there's still 1,000 things that you can get involved in. And it's a matter of being assertive there also, so that you don't have that feeling of, I want to go back to the nursery. All that bottle sounds good. Just sitting and having people tell me what to do and give me happy thoughts that are inaccurate. All that just feels safe. We're grown. We're adults. We have to be able to make decisions and think and interact with everything around us and keep ourselves safe. That's why oftentimes, a lot of times when people leave the cult of Jehovah's Witnesses, they are a target for being used by people. because they have been in a childlike state. They're children. A lot of Jehovah's Witnesses, mentally, they are children. And they leave the cult, and then they are taken advantage of, and then they want to run back to the cult. Oh, it's so terrible out in that world. Yeah. A 3-year-old wandering off is going to get scared and want to run back to his mom, because he doesn't know how to interact with anything. So we want to get rid of that childlike mindset as soon as possible, because, as former Jehovah's Witnesses, we want to be independent, think on our own, understand that everybody can think on their own and not feel like we have to be a part of a cult-like group or feel like we have to have someone telling us what to do in order to be fulfilled or in order to accomplish anything. So comment down below. Let me know what you think. 937-789-4029. We'll discuss it. About to go cook some dinner. Ex-Wallkill Bethelite signing out.